study today. Okay. So now the concept is color brain. What is basically color brain? Let me introduce the basically there are just four color brains: blue, green, red, and purple. Blue, green, red, and purple. And each one of us has one specific brain color. We could have characteristics of two different colors, but it doesn't mean we have both the colors. The characteristics of that color which we have more, basically we belong to that specific color, not from both. Now, as a student or as a worker, we must have always one question: that was the purpose of that thing or concept. Whatever we are doing, we must think about this, that how purposeful is it, or where we can use it. So this thing can be used everywhere, from your personal to social life, personal, professional, and social life, everywhere. Because you have to deal with different people everywhere. When you are at a workplace, you have to deal with papers. People at home, you have to deal with people. But now, let me talk something about practical one. Sometimes someone meets your family and they're like, this sibling is totally different. That one is that totally different, and the other one is totally different. Like one is so social, one is antisocial, and one is so rude, or what we can say introvert like. But it's basically always also their personality, but they also have the impact of their brain color. Now, if we understand the brain colors of each other, the people around us, it can help us in many ways. The number one, basically, this concept, let me introduce first thing. This concept is basically more implementing on professional life, where you are working in teams. So if you are students, you can also take it as an example, because while studying, you also have to work in groups often. I was also a student recently. We have group works. We have to deal with people around us every time. Now, if even you try to understand the brain colors of your group mates whom you are working with, you can better understand them and better facilitate them as well. What's the benefit of color brain strategy? My slides, I hope my slides are clearly shown to you. Maximize strengths. How maximize strengths? Look, it's a very basic thing. When in our daily life, when we say that when we are understanding the psyche of each other, we can produce well. That's the same thing applying here. How will our strengths be maximized? Because we are understanding each other. When we are understanding the mode other people are behaving, when we are understanding them, accepting their behaviors, definitely it will boost up our strengths. How boost up our strengths? That we can work more collaboratively, we can work happily. In a setting where we can't work happily, how could we produce well? Certainly not. So, by understanding each other, we can produce or we can work very well. Increase tolerance. Like, it's quite diplomatic, like how would it increase our tolerance? But look, when sometimes we say, even in our daily lives, that this person is so, he or she is habitual to do it. When we know that that person is habitual to do it, it's a part of his daily life. We easily accept it. The same way, when we understand that because of that person's brain color, he is obliged to act this way. So we will automatically develop the tolerance. And this tolerance helps us in maximizing our strengths. The third one, the most important one, understand ourselves. Look, before understanding others, the very first thing we have to do is understanding ourselves. That how we are giving what we are giving others, and what we are demanding in return. Right? Okay, one thing please, if something is not clear to you, please raise your hands and let me know. Okay, after each slide, I'll give a look to you so you can tell me if there is any query. Now, but where we were on understanding ourselves. First, when we look at ourselves, that how are we? Every one of us know very well that we are so loving, so caring, so empathetic, so rude, which type of person we are. We know that our bad or good habits make others use us. Pretty clear. So when we understand ourselves, it reduces stress. But now what's the mechanism? How does it reduce our stress? Look, when if a person is so nice, so kind, he can't say no to someone. Definitely others will use him. And when somebody use him, he can at least entertain himself that because of myself that I am so humble, so others are using. At least the point where we acknowledge something, it helps us reduces our stress. Now, when we understand ourselves, we get to know about that how are we. We have some habits. Basically, these 3 points are interlinked. How? The very first thing, basically, they are in. I wrote it as first, second, and third. But if we are understanding the mechanism, it could be the third one could be on the top, and it will be the inverse one. The first thing we have to do is understanding ourselves. The moment we understand ourselves, it helps us understand the other person. And when we understand the other person, it increases our tolerance. And when we all are tolerant enough, we have patience, we have tolerance, we can endure others people's behavior, it can boost our strengths. And the moment our strengths are boosted up, they are maximized, we can perform very well. We can give our best to something, to an organization or anywhere you are working at, whether as a student or as a professional worker. So that was the basically benefit. That what's the purpose of this color brain concept? Please let me know. Is it pretty clear till here? Okay. So let's move further. Now, as I told you that there are basically four brain colors. Okay, one thing I want to clear here is the one thing is you often studied about personality types and other such factor, but color brain concept is not the one that tells you about the personality. It's basically not a personality test. Don't conflate these two concepts. Personality test is totally a different thing, and color brain is totally a different thing. You can go for its test. Like when I attempted this test, I got to know about my brain color. Now, how does it work? Let's have a look at it. Uh, okay, do you ever thought that why our lives are going the way they are going? Like, why could it be the other way? Because basically of our function, the way we think, the way we perceive things, they are designing or they are crafting our lives basically. The way our brain functions, it basically matters. And how does it happen? Because of our brain color and not the personality type. Personality type is different thing, like we have personality A, type B, type C. Then comes our birth order. Like the firstborn child are basically considered responsible, where the last one is considered totally irresponsible, which is not always true. Okay, the basics of color brain. 60% is of functioning. What does it mean? That each color makes up 60% of functioning. The way someone functions, the way someone behaves in daily life, while working, it's 60% functioning. Single color, as I told you earlier, that nobody has two or three brain colors. It must only be one. We have characteristics of two colors simultaneously, like I have one or two traits as of a blue color, one could be from green color, but mostly are of purple color. So it means that have a I am a purple colored brain. You can't conflate or amalgamate it. Look, it's simply like a ratio. The thing that ratio that weighs more, we we consider ourselves belonging to it. Likewise, let me repeat it. If we have one trait from green color people, one from blue color, and four or five from purple color, it means it understood that I have a purple brain color, right? Develop software. The slide I'm showing, the last one here is develop software. Maximize ability across many disciplines. Now, what does it mean? It lets us it lets us view things from different lens. Now, viewing things from different lens helps us try helps us survive. That I am understanding that person why he's acting this way and why they are not acting upon that, or why are not they can't accept our point. We can easily accept and understand the other person and ourselves as well. So it's the same thing. It gives us the ability to think from different lenses. Like definitely each one of us have a different lens of view. Lens means the way we are looking at something from a view. Okay, for suppose, let me give you an example here. If we hear about a criminal somewhere in news, for example, the the green print people perceive it as differently. The blue one will say they will be empathetic, like, oh, they will be like, even if they are hearing about the criminal, they will be like, oh, something might happen to him. That's why he has become a criminal because of their empathy, the sense of empathy. But the purple ones, purple colored lanes start thinking about the details, like what happened to him, what he was doing there, how it, how he became a criminal. They want complete details, and they start thinking about their criminal that way. Like what was the pre-crime, what was the post-crime time. So look, the topic is this: the stimulus is one, a crime, a criminal, but each one of them are thinking differently. Now let's have a look. Let's come to the main point. That how would we know? Okay, one thing you can go for is if you want to know about your brain color, that which specific brain color you have, you can appear in its test, you can attempt and test, and that test clearly exposes that whether you are green, blue, or purple or red. But if you're not interested that much, you can do it. You can simply look at the traits and you can judge that which brain color do you have. Let's start from the green one. Green brain processor. Green ones are action oriented. Action oriented. Uh, you ever you suddenly have some people around you who can't take a decision all of a sudden, or they can't do what they want all of a sudden, because first they want experiment. First they want to do that thing. They want to show themselves, like whether is it working or not. Means instead of objectivity or theory, they are the experimental ones who want experiment practically. They want it. They want to give it a practical shape. Like how does it work practically? Whether it's going well or not well. Nothing in between. But action oriented. They want to understand the mechanism that how are things working. As I wrote it, clarity is power. What's a power to them? Clarity. If they get the things clearly, they can come to the conclusion. They can conclude it easily that whether to do it or whether to not. But unless they don't do it, they can't. Like if I talk about my teacher, whenever she gave us a project, first she tried to explore herself, whether is it working or not. She can't give us, can't assign us, but she wants herself to prove it right. Then she asks us to do it. Non-linear. Look, they are, as a first thing explored is action oriented. They want the action to be done first, then they can give a statement. Then they can be able to make a statement. Instead, sometimes some of us are like those who can make a statement and then try to prove it right. Then we can experiment, we can apply it in daily life, and we want to use it to prove our statement right. But these are the opposite. They want the action first and then come to the statement. Now, most of us think think about the things simultaneously. Like in our lives, in our sites, different factors are interlinked. But in their site, the thing which they are focusing on, they just can do this. They they think that nothing is connected. Like time has nothing to do with tasks, tasks have nothing to do with people, people have nothing to do with time. But actually, it's not that they're wrong. I will clearly say one thing that none of them are they are we can say that they are their drawbacks. It's just their personality. Like it's just their way of thinking. But they can't think so or you can we can say that they can't think so broad. Like they can't uh okay, if I give you a simple example, once we were I had a course critical thinking and that there was topic about terrorism or such world affairs. Now I can relate it that world affairs have a significant impact on economy, where due to economy, worldly affairs are impacted. Another factor is the location, the locality of countries are also impacting in this. Like we can say economy, worldly affairs, their strategic locations, they all are interlinked. But they people, those brain people, they can interlink all those things. They're like one country has a good economy, so they are going good. But they won't consider the other factors like whether how's their location, how's their friendship with other countries. They are totally overlooking it because all they can do is focusing one thing at a time. Okay. The other aspect is communicator. They are good communicators. How are they good communicators? Now look, these two things are interlinked. Who is a good communicator? You ever noticed who can speak well in a life, who has more experiences? Although some people are talented naturally, but those who have experimented all the things, who have knowledge of all the things, they are very well spoken. They are very good communicators because they have the knowledge, right? Now, this thing is linked to action oriented because they are action oriented. They want the action to be fulfilled. And for that, the first attempt. That's why they have the knowledge and they become good communicators. But their explanations are too general. Now, why? Because they are non-linear thinkers. Their explanations are too general because they are non-linear thinkers. Explanations become well when we are critically looking at things. We are not just putting information in front of someone. Instead, we are giving them the knowledge. Look, there is a difference between knowledge and information. Information is something you studied somewhere. It's information. It's a part of information. That's pretty clear. At least you got to know about it. But the knowledge is when you studied about something, you get to know that how is it working? How does it work? What's the mechanism? Right? So, but their explanations are too general because they just focus on one thing. So when they start communicating, start explaining, this they're going to explain the same thing for so long. Now, as we say that they are non-linear thinkers, sorry, and in their side, nothing is connected. So when they are focusing on one thing, any mishap has happened or any query, they want the alternatives at once. Like they can't because they can't think the other way. They are just stuck to the one thing, right? So they need quick alternatives. I hope this green trend processor will be clear. Okay, at the end it will be more clearer when we discuss a example. Now come to the red brain processor. Describe in one word that what are basically green brain processors. Green brain people are basically action oriented. They just want actions to be happened in life. Now red brain processor. If we explain, describe it in one word, they are basically the rational people. Some people in our life, we classify people like some are emotional, some are rational. So they are the rational ones. They want logic. As I said in the beginning, I gave you an example of a criminal. That if you hear about a news of criminal, how would you perceive it? From this, you can get to know about your personality type. Like red brain people, if they hear about a criminal, what they're gonna do? Because they think so rationally, they'll be like, what was the thing that makes him do this, that make him enact this crime? Look, nobody wants to be a crime. Definitely, there's something which makes him do this. So, red brain processors will start thinking this way. This what was the reason? Because they process facts. Their thinking is based on facts and figures. They they start thinking objectively and logically. They want some logic. Like if someone is doing this thing, why? Why and how? Okay? So they are the rational ones. Now future oriented. Where we said that green brain people are action oriented. Some people are they are like the same ones who are thinking about the process and they start thinking like it's a tough one, it's an easy one, we can do it practically. Instead of focusing on this, what will red brain processes do? They look at the future. If we are doing it, will it be fruitful or not? What will be the future of this thing? Like they have a long term thinking. That how would it whether it will give you a benefit or not in the future. As I said, they are future oriented. They just have a concern with future. That whether the thing we are putting our efforts in, are they fruitful or not? Definitely, no one of us likes to invest our time and effort in the thing which is not fruitful, which is giving nothing to us. We want things we are putting our efforts in to be it to be practical. We want it to be fruitful. Now, value driven. The third trait is value driven. Live around well defined value system. Okay, if you are working somewhere where there are just no proper structures, definitely there will be more hazardous environment over there. Because when there is no law, or structures, or systems, it will be not good for workers as well. So they want a well-defined value system. Well-defined value system has dual meaning basically. The first one is they want some worth, like the thing, the place where they are, they'll be considered worthy. And the other thing is they want proper structures. Okay, like if you are students, if you are red brain, you want the teacher to explain something very nicely in an order, like nothing here and there, in a straight way. So, but basically, if we describe red brain people, they are basically the rational ones. Look, again, these are the okay. One thing, all the traits of each brain color people, they are interlinked. Now, as we interlink the green people aspects, we'll interlink those ones. Now, why do they want value-driven environment? Because when they can work in a value-driven environment in a system, they can look more focusedly on a future. And as they are future oriented, so we can say that they are rational thinkers. They think rationally. Because look, if we practically look at things, what matters? The future. What will be the results of that thing? Nobody is concerned with our initiators, with our in the middle, that how hard we are suffering from or what we are doing. The sole thing that matters is future. So look, that's why they think rationally. So we can say that they are future oriented as well. Now, after red and blue comes, red and green comes the blue brain. I'm zooming it. Blue brain processes. Okay, one thing in one word, if we describe the blue brain people, they are emotional. They are emotional. They work on emotion. Even in their practical life, their emotions are heavier on their other aspects, which sometimes makes them suffer. Because if a person is too emotional, too sensitive, others will start taking him for granted because of their emotions. So now, emotional processing. The very first trait is emotional processing. How are blue brain people? They are emotional processors. Communicate in terms of feeling. Now, if we take the same example of a criminal, that criminal. Now, blue brain people will think about the criminal emotionally. What happened to him? Something very detrimental or something so brutal happened to him, which make him do this. They'll be start off emotional, like they were obliged to do this crime, right? Maybe due to family pressure or family negligence or whatsoever. Look, but the way is they start looking at things emotionally. They get it. They take things so emotionally. Intuitive, sensitive. It's basically the same thing. That if they could sometimes be bluffed, I think, in my perspective, such people could be bluffed as well. because of their this trait, their empathy. Their empathy and sensitivity makes others use them. Okay, now that even that the thing I was talking about, criminal, they even start developing empathy for that criminal. Like something definitely was bad happened to him. They don't want the proof. Or as a okay, or if you are a student, let's give take that such an example. If you are asking your teacher to delay the assignment deadline and they are so getting hyper, but all of a sudden you are like, for my health, about family, or any such thing, and that teacher will be like, okay, no, 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 no issue, you can take a week even. So it's, they don't want a valid reason, they just get emotional. So it's the blue brain processes as intuitive, relationship focused. Because of their high emotions, the dominant emotions, they are so relationship focused. Means all the utmost important thing in their life is their relations, people around them. They can overlook other things, they can compromise on other things, but they can't compromise in their relationships. The people around them, whether they're family, whether they're mates, whether they're colleagues, they are of the utmost importance to them. Now, look, if we interlink these aspects, because of their high emotions, they become intuitive. Their high emotions make them empathetic, or it's more interlinked like their empathy. Their sense of empathy and their sensitivity makes them so emotional. And this emotional sensitivity turns into relationship focus. Their emotions make them just look for and want relations in their life at the cost of anything. Now comes the last one, purple brain. I can relate it very well because I myself is a purple brain. Purple brain, how are purple brain people? In their life, they are so orderly nature. They want everything in an order, proper. They don't want the hustle bustle or mismanagement or looking here and there for something. They want everything because it's me myself, so I can express it very well. But they want everything in a proper structure. Now, the very first thing is data driven. Need lots of details and concrete facts. It's really true because I myself want the same. Unless they don't have complete long details, they can undertake the action. The way green people, they are basically, you can say, the opposites. Green people wants the action, but purple brain one first wants the details to act upon that thing. They can't work without clear instructions or not instructions, it's details. Like if they don't have a proper knowledge of something, they're not ready, they're not willing to do that thing. Okay, let me tell you about myself. When I started working somewhere, first I need to understand the project very well. That I must understand each and everything, the details, their details, that where are they serving, how are they facilitating. I want their complete details to work on that. Likewise, purple brain processors need complete details and basically concrete facts. Means they also want the logic. Like red ones, they are they also want the logic. It's not that they just want incomplete. They want complete. Lots of details doesn't mean that improper details. Like some detail from here, some detail from here. They want complete, proper, and ordered details. Like it must be relevant. If I'm interlinking something with another thing, it must have some logic. It's not that I am making it unnecessarily. It must be based on some facts, right? Okay, if I'm giving, I'll give you an example at the end. That how, as I said earlier, that personality types are not basically the brain colors, and brain colors are not the personality types, but they could be interlinked. Now, interconnected view, that they are bothering each and everything. When they are demanding complete details, they can connect each and everything, like time, tasks, people. That at what time, for which people, which task is to be done first. If I have, because I'm a purple brain, so I can give you an example. If I have two, three tasks, I want to just look at it, which one is urgent. I must look at all the things simultaneously. Which task for which person at what time is to be done first by me, right? So when deciding something, when coming to the point, I'll bother all the things. That each one of the factor is important and it can be denied because nothing is non-linear. When we are living somewhere, look, in our daily lives, the time, the tasks we are assigned with, we have to do, people around us, they all are matter. They all are of equal importance. So we can't deny even one of them. These all things are important to us. Now, rule followers, as I said earlier, that they have orderly nature. That's why they want details. They want everything in a complete order. And because of this order, they don't want their work to be jumbled or improper. Or we can just simply say that they are so rule following. Now, if we take the same example of the criminal, how purple brain processes will take it. If I hear about a criminal, first I develop some empathy because of the time, task, and people connection, my linear thinking. But then I must think about the penalty. I want, I don't want that there must be free, there should be no check and balance for those criminals. No, totally not. Because we are rule followers. So we want them to be punished, but not punish, not in the name of violence, not in the forms of violence. It's again because of our orderly nature. Look, it's quite conflating or diplomatic, you can say. We want them to be punished, but not so violently. We want them to be punished because of the orderly nature, but we want some leniency with them, resilience, again because of the orderly nature. So look, one one trait could have different aspects. Now, if we interlink this purple brain processor, we want complete details because we want complete details of something while doing something because we are the rule followers because of our orderly nature. And this orderly nature makes us think about all the things simultaneously. They don't let us forget or ignore any one of these factors. So, in short, if we describe purple brain processors, they are orderly nature. Green brain people are, let me describe in one word just, green brain people are action oriented. Their utmost priority is just action. Red brains are rational. Blue brain people are emotional. And purple brain people are orderly nature, rule followers. Now I have described all the traits of all the four color brains, but when we say about something, they are misunderstood. Like they are considered, as I said earlier, they are considered as the drawbacks. If we just, because it's the recent slide I have opened, purple brain culture. When we look at the slide, we need lots of details and concrete facts. The moment we read the statement, it seems like they are just so, we can say, dull or dumb. When they think this way, that they are so dumb that they want details, so many details to act on something, like they can do something on their own. No, it's not that they can do something on their own. So let's have a look at what are the misunderstandings. As we say, green brain people are not are non-linear. I said I told you earlier that green brain people are non-linear, like they can't interconnect all the aspects simultaneously. So when they start focusing on one thing, their explanation is just revolving around that topic. So so when we say that too general in explanations, so it's a misunderstanding. It's not that they start speaking about that one thing unnecessarily. It's not so. Definitely, if you're all the there, you giving you more details, but they are getting deeper and deeper. They're not giving you uh, wrong information or unnecessary information. Now, red ones. When we say that red colored brain people are rational, it's often considered, but although it's wrong, that here we thought that the person who is rational, he can't be emotional, or the one who is emotional, he can't be rational. No, it's not so. So when we say that red brain people are rational, they are being considered unemotional. Everyone thinks that they are not sensitive or they are, as I wrote, that seen as uncaring and insensitive. People then start thinking about that they just want logics and then they just want proofs. They don't want to inculcate emotions in their life. No, it's not so. But definitely they are more rational. Then comes the blue. The miss now look, please look at the first word, misunderstanding. These are the misunderstandings. Blue. So they start taking things personal. Like if some people are talking about any certain topic, generally they start taking it personally. Like they might be talking about me, or they are pointing out me. No, it's not so. Purple, as I said, that perceived as too detail oriented. No, they're not too detail oriented. They want valid and complete details. They just want, they don't want too much details. And why? I can tell you better because I am a purple brain. They want details, complete and proper details. So their work don't get wrong. They don't want something wrong to be done. They just want that the thing they are doing, whatever they are doing, it must be perfect. It must be correct, proper, ordered. So that's all just they want. Now we have shared the misunderstanding. So let's have a look at the strengths. Each brain has a strength as well. Now what are their strengths? Green brain. Green brain people, as we said, that they are non-linear. So each thing has a positive and a negative aspect as well. When we say that they're non-linear, they're not considering taking all the aspects into account simultaneously. But it's also a blessing for them. As we said, ignorance is a blessing. And is it? It's really a blessing. Because when they are not relating all the things, problems are not rising for them. And because they are able to focus on one thing more at a time. So they can be better problem solvers. And because of their problem solving ability, they can take a quick action. Because look, when you can sort out the problem, you don't have to wait for implementing that solution anymore. The moment you find a solution, you can apply it to sort out the query. So they are quick, they are so creative. Their creativity lets them solve the problem as fast as they can do. It helps them taking a quick action. Then comes the red brain, who are rational ones. Because of their rationality, they have analytic thinking and long-term planning. Long-term planning, because they are so rational, as we said, future-oriented. But we said in the beginning, they are future-oriented. So when they are future-oriented, they have long-term planning, like how would we initiate it, how would we proceed it, and how would we take it to the end. And then at the end, how will that thing that is undertaken by us will help us. So it's they are analyzing the things in a good manner. Now view manner. As we said that they are emotional, but their emotions are not their drawbacks. They are it's their emotional intelligence. Emotionally they are so intelligent. As we said that purple print people are so detail oriented, but what helps them? Their detail orientation helps them to strategic planning. How strategic planning? Because they are thinking, they have so many details, so they can do strategic planning. Like if this thing is going this way, the other will this. Like okay, while discussing earlier, I gave you an example of the interlinking between among countries, their affairs, their strategic location, and their economy. Now, how purple print people will think? They'll think strategically. Like if if economy, or you can first take the strategic location. If strategic location of any country is not good enough, like it's at the corner of a world or something like this, it won't have many friends, many friend countries. Like, and this friendship, how will it impact an economy? They won't have trade with so many countries as well. Likewise, if a country is who is situated near an ocean, near where there are so many countries around this country, definitely it has so many countries or so many allies as well. But at least it helps them boost their economy because they can go for a better trade. That so this is how purple brain people will think. Now, where can you apply this color brain knowledge? The four brain color we have discussed is red, blue, green, and purple. Now, where you can apply this concept, it's in daily life, in relationships, in team performance, even in your personal growth. How personal growth, the other two could be understood well, but how the personal growth? We are developing more patience for others. And when we are developing patience, it helps improve our performance and our relationships with the people around us. I hope this session has gone good. Well, so please let me know if there is anything relating to it. Please raise your hand. You can turn on your mics and speak as well. Even from the not major but minor details, we can at least come up, get to know about our brain color. That which brain color do we have? Yeah, I think there is no query on the conclusion. Okay, let me please check the section of the slide presentation. Okay, sure. Someone is saying that share the slides. Okay, I'll share it in the group so you can again look at it and go well. That which group do you belong? Any other thing? So please. Yes, please. Yes, please, Riva. You're raising your hand. You can simply please turn on your mic and speak up.